Alright, so this is part 2 of my Retrospective E3 2009 segment. Um, Continuing on where I left off. Um, Game-wise, that's basically all that I saw. I mean, I heard that there's another Mario game. Metroid, never got into it. I don't know if they mentioned Zelda. I know that they showed something about that Spirit Tracks thing for the DS. I don't remember where I heard this, but some game where you're inside of Bowser, which is kind of gross if that actually is the case, but it's kind of an intriguing idea. Microsoft had some more Halo crap. Metal Gear Solid for both Sony and Microsoft, but I'm not a Metal Gear Solid fan. And but I guess all of the big names, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, all brought games to the table at this year's E3. Nintendo, sadly, I gotta say, and I mean, not sadly, I'm kind of happy. They didn't bring good enough games. Microsoft and Sony definitely stole the show this year. And I think Nintendo's grown kind of complacent with being in first place. The Wii's, in every household. So many millions and tons that they've sold. And they think that's just this giant cash cow. And I don't think it's going to keep up its momentum. Now they did mention, and I had known about this, the Wii Motion Plus, the thing that kind of gives a little bit better sensitivity, control over the Wii remote. I kind of knew about that, but this year Sony and Microsoft unveiled things that definitely show that they're moving into the way of motion control stuff as well. Sony had a controller, and it was one-to-one perfect movement using the PS3 iToy. And some of the demos that it did for that were pretty cool. I mean, I gotta say, it's an intriguing concept, even though that the controller is still a prototype. Definitely, it's way better than anything out there right now. And depending on the price and how it looks in its finished product and what it'll be used for, it might be even better than what the Wii has. Microsoft, on the other hand, kind of went a no hands, approach. Okay, technically that's not true. It's technically more of a hands approach than a controller approach with their Project Natal, or Natal, or Natal. I think it's Natal, where you use a headset for voice commands and your hand to do all the moving around. And I think that, pardon me just 1 second. Sorry about that. It's early in the morning. I'm running late on my updates. That was my alarm clock. I'm not redoing this, so I'm just keep going. Whatever is in the past. Moving on. As I was saying, Project Natal, I mean, it's definitely intriguing with the hands-on approach, just the wave motion kind of thing. Although I think Sony has the right idea. You can't do away with the controller completely. You're going to have issues, and it's going to be difficult. And I feel that Microsoft may not live up to what they're trying to promise. Let's see. I'm not really sure what else to talk about. I mean, another big game was Uncharted 2, Drake, the Among Thieves. I remember playing the demo of the first Uncharted, and it was intriguing, but it wasn't, I'm not a big shooter fan either, so it wasn't for me. But some of the things that they're doing in games now definitely look intriguing. For instance, a game that I am kind of interested in and is going to defend is Heavy Rain. Now that kind of plays out more like a movie, in the sense that, it really takes the decision-based plot to a new level. Some people say, here, you make this decision, this is the consequence. Well, I don't like that. Let's go back. They're not allowing you to do that with Heavy Rain. You have 4 characters, and you go through and you play as them. And when one character dies, that's that. you screwed up. They're dead. You gotta continue on and see what happens now. And you gotta deal with the ramifications of what you do. And I mean, even even with having to deal with all the ramifications and consequences of your actions, you only have a split second to make a decision. I mean, it's a real life decision, and I find that it's really looking to be interesting. Plot wise, I'm not sure what the story's about, but I would definitely be interested in picking that game up when it comes out, whenever it comes out. Um, I'm sure I'm going to think of something that I forgot to mention. Um, but all in all, this has definitely been the best E3 so far. Um, can't wait for God of War 3. Can't wait for Final Fantasy 13. And definitely Versus 13. Can't wait for Dissidia. Can't wait for, The Last Guardian. There's so many games that I'm really looking forward to. I'm amazed I'm not broke. It's going to be a really expensive, year or so until the next E3. But definitely, if you didn't get a chance to see the E3 coverage, and if you're intrigued by, all that I'm talking about, you can definitely check it out someplace online. A lot went down. I could not possibly begin to talk about every single thing that happened at E3. So I'm just going to say, alright, I told you what I'm interested in. I told you my thoughts on a lot of things. I'm going to leave you guys with this little piece of thought. After E3, there's a lot of sites reviewing and giving the major companies scores, a report card on how well they did. And definitely Nintendo came in third, and it's really a struggle between Microsoft and Sony. And I gotta say, even though I don't like Microsoft and I don't like the Xbox, they had a good lineup of stuff. And it doesn't pain me to talk good about stuff. I mean, I can realize, if the 360 has something good, I'm going to say it's got something good. But just barely, Sony pulled off a slightly better press conference. If they wouldn't have talked so much about, the PS2 and all the PSP Go technical numbering and sales charts, they would have won. It would have been a landslide victory for Sony. But because they kind of bogged down the press conference in the beginning with that, definitely Sony almost lost to Microsoft. But I gotta say, for this year's E3, hats off to Microsoft and congratulations, Sony. Nintendo, I know you're not listening and I know you're not watching and you don't care what I think, but you know what? Pick up the pace. Don't get too complacent. I want to see quality games for the Wii, not shovelware that we keep seeing. Keep up the good work, and hope you guys enjoyed my E3 2009 retrospective segment. As always, as soon as I come up with something I want to look back and reflect upon, I'll let you know when I'm going to be talking about it. Later.